Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's me. Today I want to talk about something a little broad. I was talking to somebody at work earlier. I'm a foreman now, and I have some apprentices on my crew. And one of them was complaining to me about some bullshit, like, in their life that, like, it was so trivial and meaningless. The thing that he was so bothered by, I couldn't help but think, man, how entitled this guy is. And sorry, one of my kittens that lives around the house is going up in this guy's truck. And I couldn't help but I had this thought, this one sentence thought in my head, which was, I not word for word, but I'm sure glad that I grew up poor and abused, because it made me a person that I love. Now, at surface value, that may seem a very strange thing to say, or like, even in some cases, maybe like, he loves himself. Like, you should love yourself. Like, how are you supposed to love anybody else if you can't love yourself? So, and when I say abused, right, I don't mean in the SA sort of way. It was all physical and mental and emotional. And it was a lot, you know what I mean? And for a very long time, I lived very angrily, and I lived in a mindset of, oh man, like, fucking, this has happened to me. Like, if it wasn't for what's happened to me, like, my life would be so much better. Oh my God. Like, and it took some real, like, aha moments for me to realize that, like, oh yeah, your upbringing has an impact on you and who you are, but there comes a certain point at which it becomes your responsibility, right? And luckily enough for me, because of how poor and psycho everything was, that point came pretty early. And when that point came, I was about 16, and I realized that, oh shit, I don't like being hungry. And I don't like not knowing if I'm going to sleep under a roof. I don't like not knowing if I'm capable of, like, survival. Like, and it started pushing me, yes, maybe sooner than I should have, to start trying to work towards something different than what I'd known my whole life, which is the example that my parents had set forth for me. And yeah, that started at 16. That lasted a very long time, that learning period. I'm still learning. And anybody who ever says they've stopped learning, those people have stopped growing. And those people have given up, and they have decided that this is the most progress they will ever make, and this is where the progression stops. It took so much time struggling, living in hotels, like, trying to figure out how I could support me, my siblings, and even my mom for a long time as an adult, making $450 a week in Southern California. And fucking newsflash, ain't happening. And when that finally reached a boiling point, this was almost 8 years ago now, and it got to the point where it was literally like, I had to make a drastic change, or none of us were gonna make it, right? And the drastic change that I ended up having to make was I had to drop my family. And I found a little fucking foothold how to get into this shit, my union, that I've been a proud member of for over 7 years now. And when I got in, I immediately was making more money, but my deadbeat family fucking, were living in the hotel room I was paying for, couldn't help me out by just being quiet while I'm trying to sleep. I'm in the same fucking room as you. And like now it got to the point where I'm wearing earplugs, I'm tying shit around my fucking eyes to where I can try and get some sleep, and I'm sleeping 2 hours a night, working exponentially harder than I've ever had to work in my life. And fucking, I'm the new kid, like green is a fucking, vegetarian's thumb. And they got me doing the most backbreaking shit, and I'm barely sleeping because my family is fucking deadbeats and they don't give a shit, even though I'm the one paying the bills. And, this was after I had to have my dad removed from the house via the police and shit, like after a long time of fighting with my mom back and forth. And she's, essentially got Stockholm syndrome and fucking, watching my dad like fucking from a distance because I moved out once before, beat my sister, and keep in mind they were living with my grandparents off their dime. And then fucking finally I had enough, and then I ended up homeless because I couldn't afford to like pay my bills because I was an idiot and on drugs too. I moved back in, I started beating my dad's ass, and then fucking finally he put his hands on my sister while I was there and my mom, and then so I called the cops on him. And fucking anyways, then shortly after, my grandparents lose their house, like even though I was paying them like as much money as fucking I could every month to try and help salvage something, and that just didn't work. And so they ended up moving with family, like fucking just by virtue of not wanting to ditch my mom and siblings. Like I lose all access to them, which they were really the only type of parental figures I knew were my grandparents, but wasn't allowed to see them. They both ended up passing away. I wasn't allowed to see them. I got to go to my grandpa's funeral. He passed away like last year. I got to go to his funeral. Yay. Fucking whatever. I don't hold any grudges. They know I love them. Fucking God knows, what was going on, and everything's good now. But so it was a rough time, right? And then we lived in this hotel for like a year and a half. And finally, I got in the union. I realized they weren't fucking even going to try to help me in the most simple way they could. And so I went and I lived on my friend's couch for a few months, and I let them sink or swim. They figured it out. Barely, but they figured it out. Fucking, they made it work. I never lived in the hotel room with them again. Fucking, they stayed in there for like 3 or 4 more years, and I started building a life. And that perseverance to not give up, even when you have every fucking reason to, that only comes, I'm sure there are other ways, in my experience. This is all a telling of events and feelings and thoughts through my experience, right? In my experience, with how stubborn I am, I don't think that I ever could have developed the kind of perseverance and grit and determination, and also loyalty to grin and bear it through an extremely difficult time where I'm the only responsible adult. Nobody else is helping me, even though I'm trying to fucking save them, all this dead weight. And, ended up having to leave. I had to do what was right for myself. And it was crazy because it was like within a week or two of doing that, my life was exponentially more relaxed. I was exponentially able to relax more than I was ever before. And yeah, there was this fucking large sense of responsibility, and yeah, I would send them money sometimes and help still, but I kept away. And that was kind of a roundabout way to like get to like where I was getting to, which is like, and I for the first time in my life, I actually set and I stuck to boundaries, right? And that was like the actual missing recipe to get moving forward for the first time as an actual man and an adult in my life. And this was all before the rehab, right? So like setting that boundary with the people that I love and care about the most in the world was difficult, but it was so fundamental in me understanding how important that shit is, right? I was also in a relationship with it's a very toxic relationship, both ways, not just her, it was me too. And setting that perimeter, that boundary, with that determination to not give up that I had developed through surviving, it really allowed me to thrive in my career through my apprenticeship, because I always related the idea that my performance being bad at work could lead to me going hungry or me not having a place to live. I always work, even to this day, like my fucking life depends on it. In terms of efficiency and quality, I try my absolute hardest, no matter where and what I'm doing, to do everything I can correct the first time, and also as efficiently as I possibly can. And that has not only kept me gainfully employed and moving forward in my professional life, it's also helped me save myself from further developing relationship or feelings for somebody who's been extremely unhealthy for me. The signs, as I began setting those boundaries with the people that I love the most, like my family, the signs for being taken advantage of became so crystal clear to see very quick that, like, I may have, dated a few people, but it was mainly because while I was with this person, I would see that there's something about this person that I can already tell is not going to work for me down the line. Why am I going to fucking waste this time? My time's valuable. I need all the time I can get to work my ass off and be the best I can be so that I don't go hungry and I don't fucking live without a roof over my head. And these are just like innate, like second nature things to me now, right? Like the desire to go anywhere work-wise and to make sure I succeed as a team player. I don't go and fucking step on people. I wouldn't be a foreman if that was the way I did things. I go and do everything I can to help everybody be the best version of ourselves as a team as possible, and also be the best version of myself, and also do the best I can to do everything I can the right way the first time. And I now kind of hold that sort of standard to the people that I allow to work on my crew. My crew happens to be the most physically demanding job on the job site. And so it takes kind of a special, gritty, determined son of a bitch to want to do it and do it successfully. And I'm very grateful I've got a good group of guys that does that. And so another thing this has also done is it has taught me a valuable lesson about expectations. The very best way I have learned to deal with expectations and deal with them successfully is not to have them at all. Okay? Like, even let's use my guys as at work as an example, right? Like, my expectation is that every single day I go to work and we do our stretch and flex, I expect to see absolutely none of my fucking guys on my crew at work every day. I expect none of them to even show up, not to call me and tell me why. None of them. Does that happen? No. They're there every fucking day, ready to work, bust their ass. But if I wake up and I go to work with the expectation that they're all gonna fuck me every day, every time they don't, not only is it like, hey, got through another day, it's actually it becomes to be a little bit of a pleasant surprise. And it actually, the amount of joy and the way you receive the news of which, oh, hey, we did our job and we did it right and effectively, instead of that becoming, oh, just the norm, like, yes, you should expect that, right? And yes, deep down I do, but I keep my expectations in terms of like what I expect other people to fucking do, right? At fucking nothing, because then when they do more, right, then I'm happy. Now, obviously, when it comes to performance and shit, like, yeah, if a motherfucker's fucking off, I'll just replace his ass. Sure. Yeah. If I can't train him and get him to do what he needs to do, and it comes down to it, then yeah. But that's a bridge we cross when we get to it. I don't have that fucking problem right now. And yes, you can foresee problems. You can do your best to fucking mitigate them up now, but like, you're not going to catch all of them. And that brings me to the next thing, which is control, right? Control was a very hard thing. When you grow up the way I do, and you found that you had to basically teach yourself how to be an adult, and then also be the adult to the adults in your life, you have a tendency to think that you are the one who has to control everything, or else it's all going to fall apart, because that's how it's been in the past. And it's easy to start going through every aspect of your life as if you are going to control every aspect of your life. And through a lesson I learned while I was in rehab, from my car getting stolen, right after I got into rehab, and me attempting to leave to go 90 miles away to not even find my fucking car. What was I going to do? Go 90 miles away and call the cops there? No. And then literally like 20 minutes after deciding, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Hey, worst case scenario, I'll have to buy a new car and insurance will cover this because I have full coverage. As soon as I resigned to that, relinquished the control, fucking the head doctor at the rehab I was in gets a call, and essentially in a roundabout way, they found my fucking car and everything was fine. And that was such a fucking powerful moment. Like, it was like goosebumps flew over me, and I knew right away, oh, that's why you have to learn how to stop trying to control everything and learn how to let go. Because sometimes things are just going to happen the way they're going to happen, and there's nothing you or me or fucking anybody can do about it. And sometimes what's supposed to happen is what's supposed to happen, and you have no way of fucking controlling it. I've learned over the last few years, there are a few things I can control. I can control how I see things, which is, or another word for that, perception. I can control how aware I allow myself to be, which falls into that term of perception. I can control how much effort I put into something, and I can control how I respond to situations. And aside from that, what else can I really control? I can control this vehicle, but if somebody next to me wants to fucking swerve right as hard as they can into the side of my door, I can't control them. I can control what I'm going to eat tonight, but I can't control what the ingredients that make up the food I'm going to cook are, right? I can control if somebody comes and starts talking shit to me and they say something that makes me mad, I can control whether or not I'm going to respond by saying, yeah, go fuck yourself, and walking away and letting it go, or reacting and hitting the motherfucker in his face. I've been choosing to respond. And if there's one thing I've learned about control, it's that none of us have fucking any of it about anything, except for our part in how we play into what is happening around us and to us. That's all we have control over. And when you realize that, it makes it a lot easier to stop trying to fucking control everything. And it also makes the negative things a lot easier to navigate, because you're not trying to fucking hold on to it with a death grip and trying to manipulate it into something that it's not. Another thing that growing up poor and abused has helped me do is it's helped me be a lot more understanding when other people are struggling with things or going through things. Because I know how much of a mental case I could be in the past. I know how much of a mental case I still can be in the present. And I know a lot of people who haven't really struggled much or dealt with hardship, especially, in formative years like that. They tend to just think that everybody is able to control their own fucking destiny. And yeah, you are the one in charge. You're the reason that you're not a fucking millionaire. And it's like, but you're not a millionaire telling me that right now. And I know I'm pretty sure you'd want to be too. So why aren't you a fucking millionaire? Those people have usually had life so easy that because they've never struggled, they just think that what they're doing is always right. because they've never had to fucking face adversity. There's a humbleness and there's a sense of almost wonder and adventure in the world when you know that you don't fucking know everything and that people go through and experience different things in different ways. Even if me and you are in the same exact situation, you're probably going to feel differently than I am about it, even if it's just a little bit, because our perceptions of the world are fucking tailored to our experiences in the world and how we have navigated them in the past and how we see or believe we would navigate them in the future. It goes back to perception. I'm very grateful that I'm able to stop, take a second, and try and do my best to put myself in other people's fucking shoes and understand that, yeah, just because I'm having a good day doesn't mean this person is. I'm also a very open person because I've had to tell plenty of people to go fuck themselves. I had to tell my little brother no when he's wanted stuff or needed stuff and I couldn't afford it. I've had to tell my mom no when she wants fucking money. I've had to do a lot of hard shit. So now when it comes to confrontation and adversity, I'm pretty fucking quick at running head on into it and trying to fucking nip it in the ass before it festers and grow into a bigger problem. Problem solving is something I've always had to do because I've been the adult for longer than I've been an adult in the situation, and it's taught me how to fucking solve problems and how to navigate through bullshit and how to be calm when everyone else feels like everything is falling apart around them, which, yeah, it fucking might be, but I mean, you falling apart with it isn't going to fucking solve nothing, is it? Trust me, I've tried that. Doesn't help. And I think the one thing that was most important to me is that it taught me how to not try and be the man of a family and how to not try and be, or how not to be as the man of the family, or how not to treat a child who doesn't know something or who doesn't understand something or is misbehaving, or how not to treat my woman, or how not to make them feel unsafe, or how to make it known that they are safe and they are protected and they will have everything they need. And it's helped me become this fucking tenacious son of a bitch to where, like, good luck getting me to fail. Good luck pushing me back. I couldn't even push myself back. I went into a full-blown fucking fentanyl addiction. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, Mr. Big Badass or anything like that. I'm just saying that even when the going gets tough and the road gets real bumpy and I'm running myself over on that road, I promise you I will fucking persevere. I don't care if I gotta fucking bust my head open 10 times to fucking do it. I will fucking succeed. I will make sure that my family has what they need. My family now, the one I get to choose to have. I will fucking make sure that we are okay by any means fucking necessary. Any means. Like, the world is becoming a very questionable place. Things that are going on around us don't make sense. We're all learning that there's a lot more darkness that is sown amongst our society, and especially the ones in charge of it. And there's possibly going to be a time where all of us have to step up and we need to be something we've never been for the people in our lives, which is like the actual leader of the ship, right? The one who knows where to steer the ship when everything that's been put in front of us that we've known our whole lives has fallen apart. Those traits come from having to struggle and persevere through it. Those traits come from not knowing and putting yourself in a situation where you do know because you made the situation yourself. Those traits come from having to fucking survive and thrive with far less than you need to. They don't come with always constantly being comfortable and having everything you need, and when you fucking have a question, you just ask the AI and it solves for you, or you fucking Google search it, or you fucking call a plumber, or you fucking call an electrician. It comes from fucking solving the problems and facing the struggles head on. And no, I'm not saying everybody would be served correctly if they fucking grew up in a broken, poor, fucking abusive household. I'm saying in my situation that I look back on all the fucking negativity and the bullshit that's gone on in my life fondly. I look back on all of it and I would never fucking take any of it back. I wouldn't take any part of my life back. I wouldn't take any of the struggle or the hard shit or the fucking abuse or the fighting my dad like physically, or fucking, me fucking physically fighting myself by fucking smoking a bunch of fentanyl or fucking having all these problems or cussing like a sailor. I wouldn't take any of it back. I wouldn't. Having to bust my ass on a fucking daily basis, I wouldn't take any of it back, because you know what? If it wasn't for everything, that whole amalgamation of shit that has been piled together to create this fucking turd right here, this turd wouldn't be who he is today. And I happen to like this turd a whole fucking lot. I'm very proud of who this turd is. And I'll fucking gladly fly the flag of being this turd every fucking day. I don't want to be anybody else. And I'm fucking proud to say that. And everybody else should be too. But it takes a lot to get to that point. And sometimes it's not comfortable what you gotta do to get there. And I'll tell you what though, being on this side of it, knowing that like I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna make sure they make it too, because I have the tenacity and the willingness to fucking climb whatever mountain it takes to survive. On the other side of that, there's a lot of people out there who just think that they fucking know everything because they've never had to climb a mountain in their fucking lives just to make sure that they fucking have everything they need because it's just been given to them. Take away their structure. Take away their fucking security and their convenience and their ability to feel comfort at fucking will. See how much of a fucking man or a person they are when you do that. Take that shit away from me, it'll just be like starting over again. I've done it before. And I'm proud that I've had to do it. And I'm proud of what having to do that has made me into. Anyways, I hope that this was interesting or useful or insightful in any way. And if it wasn't, maybe you got a story out of it. Or a rant. Maybe a little bit of both. I hope you're all having a lovely evening. If you're a good person, I love you. If you're a bad person, I love you. Please get better. Fucking get some Jesus in your life. God loves you. God loves us all. God wants nothing more than for all of us to end up with him one day. And the best way that any of us can work towards being somebody worthy of getting to be with him one day is to be the absolute best person we can be every day we can. And attempt to be a better version of that person tomorrow than you were today. I love you all. God bless.